Alright, so guys, I know you guys didn't see this spot in a while. It's that trail that runs from on down by that lookout right here where we started my senior pictures. It goes up to the cement slab where I was walking walking down earlier up to the junction where it goes down behind 301 or whatever it is, the old G2 campsite, that big group site from the concrete slab. So the reason why I say earlier, because it's Saturday. I'm doing this video for this vlog for Sunday. For in case if I don't get out tomorrow, meaning Sunday, that this video is intended for. Which I might at least try to get out and vlog tomorrow, and if I do, this video will be for missing Friday at least. Or not Friday, Thursday. Because I did vlog yesterday. But if I don't get out tomorrow, this will cover for tomorrow. Or no. If I don't get out tomorrow before we leave here, this will cover for Friday. Or I said Friday again. If I don't get out tomorrow or don't manage to do a vlog before I leave Bayshore, this will cover for Thursday. That's how weird I am I'm being right now, because I don't want to be going home because I'm in vacation mode right now. Which, granted, thankfully I got Monday off too, so I can jump back into work on Tuesday. So like I said, if I don't get a vlog shot for tomorrow, meaning, the Sunday, the day that this video is originally intended for, before I leave here, this will cover for Thursday, and then I'll get a vlog out tomorrow saying that I'm home, which I'm sure you guys already figure out that when I upload all the Bayshore videos, vlogs anyway, you guys will know I'm home, so. But I could be uploading up here too, but I'm not going to. I don't want to find out how much data that sucks, so. Because I think that's what I was trying to do at one point when I started vlogging out here was, I'm a little gassy, I'm sorry guys. I think that's what I originally started doing was, trying to upload the vlogs at the park on the shitty Wi-Fi here, and that wasn't working because it'd take 2 fucking hours to do, so. Sorry, I had some supper stuck in my teeth. Wasn't originally going to do Dykesville Bowl. Well, that's what we planned on, but we're fucking packed, and I mean bad. So then me and Dad decided to go to Joe Rower's. So me and Dad know the owner. Well, me, Dad, my grandma, my dad's sister, Grandpa, obviously, but now he's gone. So Mike, his dad originally started Joe Rower's. And then Mike took it over once Joe passed. Ooh, that's a big drop. So then me and Dad's like, you want to do Rowers instead? I was like, yeah, let's do Rowers instead. He's like, okay. So then we jumped in the truck, left Dykesville. We stayed on whatever road that is now. That used to be an old Highway 57 that Dykesville and Frosty Tip is on. And then we jumped. Dad was going to go down. He's like, I'm trying to find a way to jump, onto 57 to get out to Rowers. I said, all right, hang on. All right, keep going. Let me fucking figure out, jump on Google Maps to see if I can figure this out. he said, well, I could turn here, and Google Maps shows right where you are. I looked it up. I looked up Joe Rowers on Google Maps. Or whatever the hell it's called on iPhone. Same shit. I said you could turn here, and then I said you got 2 routes. I said you could turn right, at the road that we're just about to hit, and then left to jump on 57 to go up a fucking country block, and then have to take a right again to go down, a country block that could be half fucking mile long. I said, or if you go up one more fucking block, go past the road that he was originally going to turn on and go up one more road and then turn right, and which is turn right on the road that Joe Rowers is on, and then just go straight and cross, just cross the highway, jump over the highway, and then you don't have to make any more turns further than the end of the lot. I was like, yeah, I'll do that. Because I was trying to just mitigate, him dealing with traffic and whatever. He's like, yeah, I'll do that. Let's do that. I was like, okay, let's do that. As I said, okay. He's like, should be coming up here because Rowers is on County Road X, I think it is. And says Luxembourg, but it's Duval. So that's probably, probably getting up into Door County territory, if I have to guess. So he went to Rowers, and we know Mike. His dad owned Rowers before him, and I was asking Mike, and I was being a pain in the ass, and Dad's like, I think he's got some shirts in your size that would fit you. Go ask him. I said, dude, I told him, I said, being that I work in, this is how I said it. I said, being that I work in, the customer service, industry, my mom and my brother do too. I said, I know what those pain in the ass customers look like, and I don't want to fucking be one. So I'm going to leave them. Because Mike's, treated us well over the years. He's like, okay. And that's how I said it. I told Dad, I know what those fucking pain in the ass customers look like. I deal with them every day. I hate them, and I don't want to fucking be one. Mike is always happy and outgoing, and, he's always happy to see people. Especially the ones he knows. Like me, Dad, Grandma, Mel, my aunt, which is my dad's sister. Dave Bader, the guy that my dad took over the parts position for, his sister works there, so my dad knows her. Which my dad pretty much grew up with Dave Bader. Because at the time, great-grandma and grandpa, my grandpa, the one that passed away, his mom and dad owned a farm out in Duval. And then down the road from his farm was Grandma's, my dad's mom. Her farm was down the road from Grandpa's, and that's how they met, because they're neighbors. And then Dave Bader, I think, was down after that. His mom and dad's farm was after that. So then that's how and at the time when my dad was growing up, great-grandma and grandpa's mom and dad had their farm yet when my dad was growing up. And all that and whatever. So, and believe it or not, where Joe Rowers is, my great-grandparents' grandpa's mom and dad owned that before it was Rowers. So if you guys are, from like, let's say Appleton up, the northern half of the state of Wisconsin. All right, so the northeastern part of Wisconsin, let's say, so it'd be like Appleton and De Pere, Green Bay, Alloway, Ashwaubenon, Howard, Mountain. I think part of Iron Mountain, that area, Sturgeon Bay and all that too. So that area. Joe Rowers, which is my dad's buddy Brian that we camp with during our week. He's got that big Arctic wolf. He knows of Rowers too. He goes there too every now and then. So, all that, and got to talking to Mike today. Because I always eye up their fucking sweatshirts that they have. That they have on display. I always said I want one. And I was eventually going to get one. And Dad said, "Why don't you ask Mike about the sweatshirts?" And I was like, "Okay." I was like, at first I was like, because Mike was busy. He's like, "Do it." I said, "Okay." And he finally got Mike's attention. I said, "How much are you guys' sweatshirts?" He said, "For people that they know, or that he knows, knows my dad, knows me from going in there. He doesn't know me like how he knows my dad, but he knows me just from going in." I said, "How much are you guys' sweatshirts?" He said, "For, people that I know, it'd be $35 or whatever it was that he said." I said, "Okay." He's like, "What size are you looking for?" He said, I was like, "How much?" Can't talk. He's like, I said, "How many, what are you guys' sizes? What's the smallest and what's the biggest?" Or I was like, "What's the biggest in size that you guys got?" He said, I think he said it was 3X, I think it was, he said. I said, "He got the white camo in 3X. He's like, "I'll go check." I said, "Okay, thank you." I respect Mike. He's a good businessman, very polite, very outgoing. Mike at Joe Rowers out in Duval. Great man. Great food, great service. If you guys want, some, granted it's greasy bar food, but it's fucking good. So please go give Mike some business. Tell him I sent you. Tell him Cole sent you. Tell him that he was talking about the sweatshirt. Tell him that I'm talking about his sweatshirts. Then he might ring a bell. So then I was like, "You got the 3X in the white camo." He's like, "I'll go check for you." I was like, "Okay, thank you." He comes back out. He said, "Unfortunately, I don't have any 3X, I think, in any sizes except for pink right now." I was like, "Okay, I'll, thank you all. If you guys got any in stock when I come out next time, I'll get one." He's like, "Okay." And then we were talking again later. I said, "You guys got because I was looking at the pink too. I was going to get a pink one, the pink camo, and kind of throw it in my mom's face and piss her off. Make her jealous. Because I think she wanted a pink one." The fuck? So then I asked, "You guys got a men's 3X in pink?" He's like, "Okay, I'll go check." I said, "Okay, thank you again." He comes back, he gives it to Dad. He says that one of the people that was working for him thinks it's too small. I tried it out, just went out and my dad laid it out and he says, "Yeah, it doesn't look," because it was a ladies 3X. Ladies sizes are, I think, going to be different than men's. So he's going around the corner. Okay, I think he knows that he knows I'm here, but so we pass and he comes out later holding the t-shirt. I'm eating. Me and Dad are both eating. I kind of see him around out of the left corner of my left eye. I'm out over here. I look, I see him and I look over and he's talking. I said, "I know you wanted a sweatshirt, being that we don't have any right now for an early birthday present. So I'm thinking for next year, because I don't think he knows that my birthday already passed, a little over, 2 months ago, and a little over a month and a half ago. He said, for your early birthday present, here you go. I wiped my hand and I said, Mike, thank you. I shook his hand and I said, thank you. So then I went up and paid, and Mike was by the window to go into, to talk into the kitchen at the end of the bar by the register. It's kind of a weird setup, how it's set up, but I'm not judging. So I said, Mike, and I shook his hand again, now that my hands are clean, I said, Mike, thank you. I should have said, Mike, thank you. I owe you one. The next time I come in, anything, if you want me to, just ask. If the next time I'm in here and you see me, just ask. If you want me to put the word out on the internet, let me know. But, it's fine. I'll put it out for him anyway. I'll try to help him get business. So, but anyway, guys, I'm pushing 16 fucking minutes on this god unholy fucking video. So, Mike, you see this? You're a good man. I owe you one. I appreciate it. Thank you again. But anyway, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video.